to extend across to the southeast when it's only confined to the southwest. So that's a good try. I admit that is a good attempt at explaining that discontinuity, but I don't think it holds.
Okay. Thomas Verity says, check out Tom Unboxes for fresh unboxing content. Very cool. I love unboxing channels. Brian G. Okay, so they planned a mission that never happened using photographs from satellites, and they got away with it. How? To what end?
Well, so you could imagine a scenario in which NASA had the most purest of intentions, where all of the engineers really, really wanted to go to the moon. None of them believed anything other than they would. And it could be just as simple. And again, this is conjecture. I'm not saying that I have evidence or anything of this, but just conjecturally, you could say all of these NASA engineers who pure-heartedly wanted to go to the moon were just thwarted by the fact that, say, one of the life preservation systems didn't work. I mean, maybe it was the oxygen scrubbers, maybe it was the radiation. It doesn't matter what the details are. Really, that's completely irrelevant to the point. So you could have a scenario in which these people genuinely wanted to go to the moon. They had only the purest of intentions, but were foiled by some minor detail of say the life preservation system. And at that point, JFK announced to the world that they would, we will do this and the other thing. We do things that are not because they're easy, but because they're hard. We will go to the moon. So, and NASA had so much pressure to deliver on this that even though they gave their best shot, they were just foiled and thwarted by the fact that there are these problems with this admittedly experimental system that had never been fully tested. I mean, they were doing tests up to that point. But so there not need to be any malice on the part of NASA for this to develop organically and for the motivation to arise.
That is just conjecture as well. Just a guess, right?
All completely conjecture. Yeah.
All right. Brian G. then follows that up with saying, why hasn't any other country raised hell about it? How could you let an opportunity to embarrass the U.S. slip like this? We answered that earlier. Oflemio says, Ace is a nerd sniper, XKCD 356.
Yes,
Bombay,
I am.
Bombay Skewspective, Devil Dog 314. Let Team Skeptic put forth a piece of evidence for why we did go to the moon. Do you want to do that very briefly, Team Skeptic?
I mean, as we discussed previously, I mean, there's retro reflectors that are up there. The lander site has already been photographed by China, the Chinese rover, and not just the Chinese orbiter. I'm sorry, not the rover, but the orbiter. Not just the Chinese, but now there's been several countries that have actually gone up there and sent orbiters around, and these are enemies. Some of these are enemies of our state, and they would do. My same argument is still going to be valid. I mean, you can say that's conjecture. Yes, that's fine. That is conjecture. But I've also been in that position, and I do understand that if Russia had an opportunity to knock us down off of the high horse, they'd definitely take it. If China had the opportunity to do it, they'd definitely take it. They both have the opportunity to do it because they both send orbiters to the moon, and neither one of them can say that it's not there because it is there.
Okay. Herbert Lowell says, these kind of image analysis prove nothing. You need more images and less movement from the camera to at least try anything. Who's your atheist? Ace, be honest. You're a Poe. Also, Kyle's hair is beautiful. Thank you. Are you a Poe? Ace?
Okay, I will admit sometimes I am a Poe. Sometimes. But I'm not being a Poe today.
I know.
That's some honesty there. I
will say this: you are a contrarian, but I think that you actually do believe the conspiracy theory.
I have significant doubts about the Apollo mission, and I mean this pair of images is only one piece of evidence, but I think it's the most interesting piece of evidence.
Okay,
because you don't have to talk about like the Van Allen belts and the radiation and that just goes over people's heads really easily. There's nuance
between Poe and contrarian, but I know you were contrarian.
Roderick,
I am. I am.
He put an emoji up and said, "We all know what this means." Ash Scott said the question, Ace, was, "Do you have any other evidence?" Brian G. Russia never said it was fake. China, who has their own space program, never said they were fake. Brian Stevens, what he said is only true if P times A and P times B is less than 1. Sure.
So
He's talking about the lens parameters, and I mean maybe.
No, he's just talking about
to look into that.
No, he's talking about probability there.
Probably. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said that the product of the two must be less than the sun or than either one of them. But if they're both 100%, then the probabilities, and if they're both 0, it's also both 0. So
yeah.
And then Devil Dog 314. This could have been over a long time ago if you had started. If you had started the talk with the retro reflectors. Mike Mick says, as an Iraq veteran, Americans are very skeptical. Kuyasa, is it all that radiation that gave Steve his superpower of being super smug? That explains a lot. Fight the Flat Earth.
Damn right.
Did he say the ISS is similar to a fracking submarine? Ow, my face. Aaron Martin, speeding model. Why didn't his big yellow ball fall down the 400-meter deep valley between the lander and the St. George crater? 0132. If this entire debate is about one gift, then Ace didn't bring nearly enough to the table. My unfinished journey, super chat with no message. Kuyasa, well, that's not true. 0132. Ace brought 2 picks and the snap, giggle, quip, dodge, snort with him as well. That's masterful debating for sure. My unfinished journey, Ace equals a Kruger expert. Bombay has Ace analyzed them in Photoshop. I hear Professor JM has a proven method in that. Shrift says you, Brady Beaver, tell the kid to lose the tux. Love you guys. DKG Custom, tell the shit images match reality. I checked. Xantar2482 says, ask Ace to define narcissistic personality disorder and how does it apply to him. And then Fat Photog says, Tom unboxes next YouTube sensation. Tom unboxes, man. You're getting a lot here. Joe Son Sneed.
Yeah.
Read Joe's again.
Well, so you know what was really interesting was a lot of this.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on. Joe, he cut out.
Joe said that's another puzzle piece, and then Jen Morgan says, Ace, you're completely wrong.
Good. I'm glad people disagree.
I like your suit. So.
Oh, but Steve, I wanted to say, I mean, I'm not a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian, because if that was the case, I would be a flat earther, but I'm not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Take a couple seconds and let everybody know where they can follow both of you and your channels, that sort of thing. We'll start with Ace. Where can people find out more from you?
Okay. Well, so I don't really have a YouTube channel. I mean, I have a YouTube channel with some like programming tutorials for like programming languages that nobody really uses. So I'm not really a content maker, but if you are interested in debating with me, I frequent a Discord channel called Modus Ponens. So it's like Modus, Modus Tollens, all that kind of stuff. It's the logical rules of inference, but it's with a P. So it's MODUS space PWNENS. Modus Ponens, like a ponu. So I'm in there frequently. So if you guys want to, maybe you can drop an invite link or something like that.
Trigger warning for people that have never been there. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yes. Oh yeah. Trigger. Yeah. Trigger warning. Yeah.
That's not for white belts.
It's not for white belts.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
Okay.
So yeah,
and
that's where you can find me.
Okay. Team Skeptic.
Yeah, again, Kyle, Steve, love both of you guys, man. I love being on the show. It's the best show on the fucking internet. Everybody, if you are not already subscribed to Steve McRae, please go subscribe to Steve McRae. He deserves more subscribers than the entire community added together. He helps me to understand my logical fallacies that I commit, and I'm not impervious to logical fallacies. Tonight, I do appreciate you, Ace. I felt like it was a good conversation,
really
even
nice.
if we disagreed. It's okay for us to have differing opinions and see things in different ways. I do want to say that I've tried to approach this from a very not from the position that we went to the moon, but just from the position of I don't know whether we did or we did not. Your position was to try to convince me, and I tried to look at it with a skeptical eye without having any presumptions about what the reality is. That's why at the beginning I said, hey, am I presenting evidence or am I just refuting yours or analyzing yours? And I don't feel like I'm convinced. I'd be more than willing to have the conversation ahead of time if you can prove that the transformations that occur in that photo are consistent with your assertion. Then I'd be more than happy to hear the argument. And again, I appreciate the time on the non-sec, and I appreciate you, Ace. Have a good night.
Yeah, it was really nice. Thanks.
And let me get this last one that came through. Fat Photog says, and that's another puzzle piece. So there's
another puzzle piece.
All right.
That's another puzzle piece.
This was interesting. Thank you,
Very
Tim, for that shout out. I put the link to my channel in the video description.
Steve, do you have any anything that you need to put out there?
Yeah, right now, afterwards, if you guys are still craving for more talks and things going on, got about 700 people watching over at the Great Debate Community, which is a hidden kind of channel. Not many people know about it, although it's got about 3,000 subs. David McGinnis and Cheshire Vid and a few other people are having a really interesting conversation over there. You want to go check it out. I put the link in the video description right now, and head over there after this because they may appreciate you listening. Because I'm going to be heading over there too because I was checking it out. It seems to be a pretty good conversation so far.
What are they talking about?
Bigotry. Interesting. When does criticism can become bigotry?
Got it.
Yeah, I get accused of that a lot, actually. In fact, on one of my previous videos, one of my recent videos that had got it's almost up to 100,000 views. It was done about a woman, and there were people that were like, "I can't believe you would talk to a woman like this." And I'm like, I will talk to anybody like this. It's stupid. I don't care if they're a man, woman, black, white, gay, straight, whatever the case. If they say something stupid, I'm going to point out that they're saying something stupid. It's not sexism. It's not bigotry. It's not anything like that. It's simply an objective, or I guess it'd be a subjective opinion based on the stupidity of what was said.
Got you.
Enough.
Remember, guys, that if you are a patron of the channel, we will be having a private hangout tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can come in, and we're going to be talking about the upcoming Patreon week, where you're going to be people who are patrons of this channel are going to be able to do every day next week something different. We're going to finalize that all together on Saturday. I think it'll be a really cool time. So the link will be put out on Discord and Facebook and on the Patreon website. So you'll be able to check that and get the link to join us. That'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Flatter Day night and maybe Why Am I Being Detained night, if it all works out. So keep your fingers crossed. And just remember, we here at NonSequitur, we're never driving, but we're always traveling.